Good evening and welcome. This is another edition of the TR Show, and this evening we have our special guest with us, and our special guest will be telling a true story of what has happened to her, and how she got over. She escaped death literally. She escaped death literally, and is now having to cope with all kinds of things. She's been through depression or a depressive state, and she's had to overcome a lot. But I want to say, we thank God. We thank God for strong women with strong will and strong mind that was able to go through the situation and to come out on the other side as a strong individual that can tell the story to encourage another woman that is currently going through the same situation, or if you should come up on a situation like this where your life is threatened by a guy or a monster or whatever you want to call them. We understand that no innocent woman who is living a respectable life should go through this kind of stuff by any kind of monsters or any kind of pathetic or sociopath or whatever. We just don't condone this type of behavior, and it is sad to see our men treating our women like trash or garbage, or that they are not a person, or even so much so like a child. It is wrong. Before we go any further into this show, I want to take the time out to invite the presence of God. Everybody knows that when it comes on to TR Show, I am very much a godly person, and I believe that whatever I do, I should invite the presence of our Almighty God to be a part of whatever we do, whatever we say, so that we can be in full accordance with the highness of our main creator, or the creator that has created us along with heaven and earth, and all that is in existence today. So I just want to say, God, we thank you for today. God, we thank you for your people. God, we thank you for friends and families. God, we thank you for the main thing, the most important gift that was given to any man is life. And so, God, we want to thank you for life. We want to thank you for health. God, we want to thank you for strength. We want to thank you for everything that we possess in this life. God, we thank you for a bright future. We thank you that tomorrow is better than today. We thank you that the next relationship is better than the present, if there should be a next relationship. We thank you that we have been able to overcome our past dilemma. We glad that we have overcome our circumstances, our trials, our heartaches, our pains, and now we are present in reality, and we are happy and glad that you gave us strength to fulfill our destiny, and to think right, and to think conscious, and to think the right way, and so we can move possible on in life and know better and do better. Now, as you gather here to share the story of this amazing lady who has been through hell and back, who has been through the fiery furnace but made it through alive with the help of God, I want to say welcome. This is the TR Show, and this is another episode of my story, my true story, this series. I want to then say welcome to everybody that is present here tonight. What I want everybody to do, if you can, is to share the stream out. Share the stream out, tell a friend, to tell another friend, to tell another friend that we're live and that we're sharing stories, we're sharing happenings, we're sharing current happenings or past happenings that we've been through, and then someone can hear and probably get an idea as to how they can, do something. All right, we're about to invite our special guest on. But before we invite our special guest on, I just want to say again, if you can share the stream, like the stream, let someone know that we are here and that we are ready to go. All right, welcome to the show. Survivor is the name of our show this evening, or our caller. Welcome to the show. This is the TR show. Welcome. You are able to tell your story, and we will be listening. And we will ask questions at the end of your story. We will also try to hear what others has to say about your dilemma or your misfortune, if I may call it that. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to the TR show.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me begin my story. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am hearing you. Let me check if the chat is hearing you as well. Guys, can you hear our special guest? Let me know if you can hear. For all those who can hear our guest, put a 1 in the stream so we know we can hear. All right, all right, all right.
Okay.
They are hearing, so you can go right ahead and tell your story.
All right.
Yeah?
So good night, everyone. All right. So my story starts where
Okay, someone is saying
I.
it's a little bit low. So you might want to project just a little bit more. Or
Okay.
or go closer to your phone or whatever you're using, so we can hear.
All right. Is it any better now?
Very much better. Very much.
Good. All right. So my story starts. I am a professional, and so I got very busy with work and all the other happenings around me. I spoke with a friend of mine who is currently in Dubai, and she suggested to me to go on a dating app because I was basically alone. So I went on this dating app and I met this gentleman who said, according to his profile, he is from my hometown, according to the information. We got to talking, and I felt quite comfortable meeting this person because a cousin of mine had died and I went for the funeral. And so it so happened that in going to the funeral, um, person communicated with me and I mentioned where I was, and it was actually right where he was. So we had a chance meeting, and from there on, he started his trickery. So, in my mind, this guy is a medical doctor, which I found out shortly after that it wasn't so, based on how he would communicate with me, because I myself was in medical school at the time. And so I realized something was not right because I felt happy that I met a doctor and I could ask him questions about my assignments and questions about different things about the body that I may not understand. Anyway, the long and short is he insisted on driving me home one when I went down for the funeral. Um, so he wouldn't allow me to leave the parish without him driving me home because it was night, it was late. I eventually refused, and he wouldn't stop, and then I allowed him to drive me to a point, and he was supposed to take the bus back down. I found that strange because I said, which doctor really would want to, drive somebody and then take the bus down? Anyways, we went ahead, and when I was halfway the journey where he should have come off, he refused to come off. He insisted on continuing all the way back to Kingston with me. And when he got to Kingston, he said that he had an uncle that he could spend the night with. When we got to Kingston, I said, well, listen, I have to go home. And, where's your uncle? Where should I take you? So I took him to this place, and he claimed that there was an uncle there. And I know that was a lie. Anyways, after we left, I left him here. I suspect he was on the roadside that he slept because he did not. I know there was no uncle. Next morning, very early, he started calling my phone and he started almost throwing blame at me to say, I left him stranded and the whole works. One thing led to another, and I ended up seeing him again. And when I saw him again, he mentioned that he had gone home and come back. He went home and returned to silly girl I am. I agreed to see him, and I met him at a point in Kingston, and we spoke. I was quite busy with school, so I didn't have a lot of time for relationship and all of that. Eventually, eventually, he found out where I lived, and he came to the house, and he refused to leave. I couldn't get him to leave the house, but I wasn't too hard on him because he's so clever. He's such a trickster that my neighbor's a doctor came to visit me, and the person, the abuser in question, walked away from where I was standing when the doctor came to say something to me. And he was like, me know him. Me know him boomy. Him did too boomy in a medical school. Me not like him. Like, I don't think this is something that sounded normal because I know this guy who is calm and nothing compared to what my attacker was describing. So I started getting very, suspicious of him and all of that. Anyways, again, one thing led to another, and he started staying here because he told me that there was a man that wanted to kill him in his community. By this time, I found out he was not a doctor, right? And he realized he couldn't stay by me, and he made up a story. He said that a man wants to kill him in his community, and if he should go back to the community, the person going to basically kill him. And he would pretend that he would get calls, like threatening calls, and he would cry tears, him can't go back. And of course, I got sorry for him. I felt sorry for him, and he ended up staying by my house. He would never get out of the house to work. Everywhere I go, he would go with me. Every single place that I would go. I never had a chance to go anywhere on my own. If I'm going to the shop, if I'm going to the supermarket, anywhere. If I'm going to, I also, and if I'm going to my business place, he would attend the business place with me. So nobody could see me outside of seeing him. In the end, I found out why he never wanted me to have space, because he knew his intentions and he knew he would reach to the point where he would be reported to the police. But anyways, in staying at my house, he started becoming very abusive. He would hit me. He would do everything you can think of. He would rape me. He would beat me. He would strangle me. He would box me down. I remember one night, he went out with who is a friend of mine. And oh, by the way, he would normally try to friend up all of my friends, he would become friends with them. So one day he went to a football match with a friend of mine. And when he got back from the match, he started, demanding sex and making sexual advances and stuff. And I was like, no, because it's in my mind, this person is a crazy person. And I said, no. And it was one box. I fell to the ground. I went I was, in and out of consciousness. It's called a lucid period that I had. And I eventually got up, and my son, who is a teenager at the time, he said to me, he came to my bedroom door and he would knock on the door and he was saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." And the attacker would hold me by the throat and say, "Answer him normal. If you don't answer him, I'm going to crack your throat, crack your neck." And I would have to say, I'm okay, to my son. We call him John. I said, "John, I'm fine. Everything is fine." But he knew, I guess instincts would tell him that, mommy is not okay. Mommy is not fine. And eventually, before I got to open my room door to let in my son, he threw me down on the bed, he put his hand around my throat and he strangled me, and he told me that if I ever said a word about this to my son, he was going to kill my son and my parents, and nothing would come out of it. So when my son eventually came in the room, I pretended that all was well, but my son would not leave. Like, he was just sitting right at my head and rubbing my hair, stroking my hair, and like I was one, I was figuring out that okay, he now knows that something's wrong. And the attacker kept saying to him, John, go to your bed, go to your bed. Your mommy is okay. She's just a little stressed out. And my son knew that something was wrong because he was his mother, you know. So
Hold on.
eventually I encouraged him to go to his bed because I didn't want the attacker to
Just a minute. Can you
start.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right. How old were your son at this time?
He was about 15 years old or 14 thereabout.
Okay. All right. Continue.
Yes. All right. And so while all of this was going on, he went back to his bed, and I could not get a chance to go to the police. Now, the beatings went on for months. Like, I cannot tell you how many times he beat me up. It would happen in front of my son, it would happen um, anywhere in my car. It would just happen anywhere, and I never had the chance to go to the police. So basically, I was like a hostage. I'd be raped, as I said, beaten, everything body can think of would happen to me. Couldn't do anything. I couldn't escape. One night I tried to escape, and yes, I left my son in the house. It may seem crazy, but I told him to lock his room door, and I tried. I jumped in my van and I tried to go to the police. But as I started, because how I park, I have to reverse and then go forward. And as I completed reversing, he somehow came to the van. He was able to open remember, I don't know how this happened so fast. He opened the van door, he opened the bonnet, and he pulled off one of the plug wires. Now, I didn't know what he had done, but the car could not. It couldn't go so I had to just go back inside. And that was another beating because where do you think you're going? How dare you? That kind of thing. So that was another dose of beatings. And eventually I figured that he would have killed me. There's no way, like, you could not tell me that I wasn't going to die from this situation. Um, it got to the point where I stopped sleeping. I couldn't sleep at night in my bed, and I would have my eyes open. If he turns or anything, any movement, I would be wide awake. If I did fall asleep sometimes, like for 10 minutes, little naps, I would wet the bed. I was that nervous. I would always wet the bed. And when I wet the bed, he was like, how you fretting about you're stressing so much, you're stressing out yourself. And then he would behave like, oh, he's here for me, and everything is okay. So I'd wet the bed, that mattress, after a while. And it was just horrible. So one day somebody's asking, did I go to work? No, I was not working. I was studying and running a business. So I would go to the business when I have time, and he would come with me. So all my staff, everybody was, knew this person, and I would have to pretend that we had a relationship and that this relationship was perfect, and it had to continue like that, because if I made one funny move, I'd be dead. So I had to just be normal, pretend to be happy, and nobody would know, because he looks decent, and everybody would think that, oh, everything is fine and all. It seemed like I was watching a Lifetime movie. But anyways, I lost a lot of weight. I couldn't eat. I was very, very, very unhappy. I couldn't talk to my friends. Oh, I couldn't use my phone. There was one time that I have a friend who is a high rank police officer, and I had mentioned something about him. He wanted me to do something for him because I hold another position that would allow me to assist from time to time at the police with the police. And he never wanted me to go to any police station to do my other duties. I could not. Um, so one night he said to me that, no, I said to him that I need to go by the police station because such and such person has requested, he has requested my service. I have to go there. And what the guy did, he took my phone and he broke it in two, just like how you'd break a chocolate. He broke my phone in two. I didn't know that that was possible. So as a result of that, I lost all my contacts. Nobody could get in touch with me. He promised to replace the phone. It never happened. So I had no phone for a while, and remember now, this is what he wanted, because he wanted to cut me off from the rest of the world. One day, he I don't remember what had happened, but I got the chance to drive by myself, and I went straight to the police. I told the police what had happened, and they wanted to come and take him out of my house immediately. I was afraid because, oh, by the way, he would threaten me, and there was this fictitious character, which after a while I found out it wasn't a real person. This person that he said was in Bermuda, like a drug lord, and he can make calls and get people killed just like that. And I believe, because I'm not a bad girl, so I don't know. I think I don't understand badness. So I think that if him tell me that, it goes suffer true. So everything him say, I would always cooperate. And I was just so terrified. Anyways, one day I went to the police, as I said to you before. Went to the police told me that they're going to take him out, but I was afraid that he would make his friend from Bermuda kill me and kill my entire family. So I begged the police. I said, please, please, please do not take him out of my house, because I'm afraid that, I'm going to be killed and what have you. The police literally laughed at me and said, listen, leave our work. And I begged and begged, and they said, well, save my number as such. And they saved my number as a name who is supposed to be my aunt. And so they would call from time to time to check if I'm okay, but it would come up on the phone. This is after I got a phone. It would come up on the phone as auntie so and so, right? And they would check on me. um oh boy, so much to say. I feel weird telling the story. Okay, anyways, one day after I reported him, we were driving right on Balmoral Avenue in Kingston, and he started beating me in my car with my son. And I got to a point where I just didn't care if I died, because it was it felt like I was in hell. And I don't know how to explain to you. It's the worst feeling. Like, death is more attractive than being in this situation. And I decided that I'm not gonna put up with it anymore. I'm just gonna give in, and I'm gonna just die. So he started beating me in the car. My son was in the car as well. My son was in the back, and I was in the driver's seat, and he's in the passenger seat. And he took my phone away. Somebody had called me, and it happened to have been one of my customers from my business, but he didn't know who it was, and he grabbed the phone from me. And man, let me tell you that another side of me came out that I didn't know. I stopped the van in the middle of Balmoral Avenue. I came out of it and I ran after him. Right? Didn't know he was going to run. He ran away from me. Right? And traffic, and I don't know if people videoed what was going on, and traffic and everything back then. And I say, you know what? Let me not get a ticket right here. So I went back in the van, because nobody would understand. People would think it's just a man and woman quarrel, and this woman would be stupid and miserable. So I say, you know what? Let me just go back in the van. I went back in the van and I sat down. I decided that I'm not leaving my phone. Right? And also, one of my staff members was waiting on me in halfway tree to pay her, and this man gone with my phone. Right? I had no way of getting in touch with this lady, and she's waiting with her son, standing up in halfway tree, waiting on me to pay her. Right? So I decided I'm fighting for my phone. Eventually, he came back to the van and he started hitting me again. And I opened the door again. And what he did this time, he took my remember this, he took my phone He ran around the van and I pressed the gas and I pinned him to the wall. I thought he was paralyzed. I pinned him to the wall. My van was ruined. I was so happy. I used to be crazy vehicle, but I pinned him to the wall as much as I loved that van. It was ruined and I did not care. I was very disappointed when I realized that he was able to walk, right? I went directly to the police. My son was telling me to reverse the van, ram it into him again. And I said, no, there's too many people here. And I knew I would get in some trouble. Some people on the road assisted me to pull the fender off the wheel so that it could drive. And I drove to the Half Tree police station. But before that, he came back. After I hit him, he came and he took the key out of the van and he broke it in two. Broke off the top piece that would have the remote, the sensors and stuff, and just left the piece that would be pushed into the ignition. Well, another guy on the road helped me. He's the guy that sell peanuts and stuff. And he came and he fixed it up and kind of catch it up so that I could drive over to the police station. I drove to the police station. As a law-abiding citizen, I thought I was responsible for his medical expenses. So I said to him, go to Andrew's Hospital because I thought I would be in trouble. And I said, okay, if this man tries to sue me, him can't sue me for medical expenses because I'm going to pay it. So I went, I reported it. The police, this is a story and a half. The first police I went to, he was so nice and it was just nice. Anyways, so I went to him and he was so nice and I was crying and my son was with me and I was frantic and he walked me to the front where I was to go make the report. The guy kept calling me and I told him, go to Andrews, and I eventually went to Andrews and I paid the bill. um I didn't go alone. I asked for a police escort and the police went with me and I paid the bill and everything. No, shortly after to come back because what he did, he spoke to my father and tricked my father because he will trick you. He's clever like that. Trick my father into believing that it was just an accident, the car crash, and him get damaged and what have you, right? And I could not do about it. So eventually, I went the um to my house, right, back to my house, and he stayed again until he was better. He said that he was going to go home and I begged him to go home. He just kept saying he's going to go home. Every day I'm going to go home. Every day I'm going to go home and it can't happen. So I rented a car for him because I know what he wanted. He wants to go home in style, right? Um, so I rented a car because, as I said, I'll do anything to get out of the situation. So I rented a car for him. I paid for 3 days. And I knew that if he really went in that car and decided to drive home, I knew it would have been the last day that he would see me. And so it worked out that way. He went away and I told him when he reached home and I heard his mother in the background, I knew he was home. I said, you cannot come back to my house. Do not ever come back to my house. Oh my God, I didn't think it could get worse. It's like this, the devil in him come out, right? So he started sending threats. I got a lot of death threats. I got a lot of just a lot of stuff. So every time I would drive out of my yard, he would tell me, I know where you are. You just drive out and your van park here, so beside this car and this and this and this car not there. So I was really scared. So this went on for about 2 weeks. I cannot come out of my house. Every move I make is this guy calling to tell me where I am. So I never know what to do. Of course, I told the police and they're looking for him now. They're looking for him until one night I had to run away from my house. Said to me that, oh, my mother came to stay with me because of all of this. So he said to me one night in a text that if you don't come to me, I am going to send for you. When he said that, I took up my car keys, my son, my mother, and I went to a friend's house who lives in a gated community. And I ran to the police and asked for an escort, and they escorted me straight to the house where I was going to stay. And we all stayed there one night, all of us on one little bed. And it was the best night I ever had in months. I was able to sleep. I didn't worry about anything. I was just comfortable, right? Anyways, the next day I went straight to my pastor, and he assisted me in setting up, a contact with a high rank police officer from the same Half-Tree station. I mean, they're the best stations. After them, they are the only ones that really helped. But anyways, um, so I went to the police, and they told me what to do. We set up a sting operation, and they caught him the next day. Because he would call me like about 200 times per day. Because I remember one day I decided not to answer, and I put on the phone and I checked. It was about 200 calls, and nobody could call me because he would constantly be calling. So everybody calling me going get busy, or it's just difficult. And so I would get frustrated and turn off my phone sometimes. I couldn't go to my business place. I was afraid. I was hiding from him. But before this thing, this is also an interesting part. When he couldn't business place one day just to collect something, and listen, this guy was there somewhere lurking, because as soon as I got out of my vehicle to go into the place, he was there, and he came in there and he beat me in front of my staff and some children that were there. So I went to the another police station nearby to my business place. They took it for a joke, basically. They said, "Chow man and woman story. We know nothing outside to no love. Come and make reports, and when it's time for you to for us to prosecute or for us to lock up, come and ball and say whatever." So I said, "Okay, if you don't want to take me serious, this man coming here now want to beat me. What am I to do? Am to go to the police, or am I to just leave it and make him kill me?" It was after that I went to Half-Tree, and they got him locked up. No, when he was locked up, I was happy. The day when they picked him up, I literally felt like a burden was lifted off my shoulders. I was free. I almost screamed. I was so happy. I was overjoyed. My friends, I was able to call my friends again and communicate with people. And listen, my friends started saying to me, um, Survivor, you sound different. You sound like yourself again. What was wrong? And I started telling just a few people. Not a lot of people have the details, but I started telling a few people. Now, by this time, this guy's in jail, and I'm so happy. Eventually, he got out. After about 2 months, he got out on bail, and he started again. When he got out, he said that he wanted to. First, he said that he's coming to Kingston and something was wrong with his vehicle. And I was my mechanic, who he knows, to come and meet him. And I couldn't get through to the mechanic, and he wanted me to bring a spanner, a vice grip, a hammer, and a cutting tool to him, to meet him on the highway. This is the highway from, what's it called now? The one from Ocherius to Kingston, right? All right. So I said to him, "No, I'm not coming out there to meet you. The most I can do is leave them somewhere. You find a way to come for them, because I cannot come that far." Never thought that these were the tools he wanted to kill me, right? I did not even pick that up. I was that dumb to not realize these were the tools that were supposed to kill me. Anyways, he made it to Duane Park. According to him, he made it to Duane Park. I don't know how the car mashed up and he make it to Duane Park. I had to go to drop a friend of mine, and she said to me she wanted to come with me to meet him. And I said, "You know what? No, go home to your husband and your daughter. Stay over there. I'm fine." So anyway, On my way back, my phone was ringing. It wouldn't stop ringing. It was annoying. And then I said, you know what? I'll give you I don't have the tools, but whatever it is that you want, I cannot help you. Right? Something happened. I stopped. I stopped at Duane Park gas station. And he was there. And he started talking to me. He started talking to me nicely and saying how everything, and I hope that you're okay. Nice talk to me come closer to his vehicle. And as I was about to walk away from his vehicle, because we are almost side by side, parked side by side. And as I'm about to walk now to go into my car, him just grabbed. I didn't have my phone with me, which I'm happy because I would have taken the phone. So my phone was locked up in the vehicle. And took me away, and he said to me, before he drove off, he started to strangle me. He started to strangle me, and I went limp because I had passed out because he strangled me for so long. I got so weak, and I thought, this is it. This is Christmas. This is it, Boxing Day, the day of Christmas, right? And I'm saying, this is my last Christmas, and all that was on my mind was my son. Him from now on. Anyways, I went limp, and like I came back, and he started beating me in my head, beating me in my head with his bare hands. And I thought of opening the car door, but I say, if I open the car door, I am going to anger him more. So I say, you know what? Let me just relax. And he said, open the door, I'm going to stab you in the neck with the key. That was the car key that I had. He said, I'm going to stab you in the neck with the key. Anyhow you try to touch the door. I put my hands, like I put my palm in the other palm, put them on my lap to let him see that I'm not even trying to open the door. And he drove all over Kingston in some ghettos and all over the place. I'm saying to myself, if this guy's going to kill me, just kill me now. Like, me tired of this drive up and down. This went on for about 2 hours. Eventually, my head swelled up big, like huge. I never know my head could swell like that. And my head got so big. And eventually, he pulled over at a gas station, and he said to me, what you going to tell your people them now? What you going to tell them about your head? Look at your head. What you going to do now? What you going to do? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm saying this guy's trying to blame me for this. So I said to him, I said, don't worry about it, man. I'm not going to tell anybody. I will just put on a head tie, and I will just be okay. The Lord would have it that he took me back to my car. And then after he took me back to my car, I went in the car, and he came in the car with me and saying, come follow me, go to the ATM machine. I want to draw some money to give you so that you can pay a lawyer for me, because me know you're going to report me. And I know that I'm going to need money to pay a lawyer. So I refused. I said, listen, please, I'm tired. And I think I was coming down with the flu. And I said to him, I'm tired. I'm not well. Please, just allow me to go home. Please, please. And I was bawling. I'm begging. I was like, please let me go home. I'm talking about it now, and it's so hard. I'm so sorry. And I begged him, and I begged him. And the police station was right there. The police station, Duane Park, was right there. And I'm so afraid of this guy that I'm afraid to run out of the car and scream to the pump attendants, because nowadays people mind their own business. So I may scream to them for help and they run away, thinking it's a setup or something. So me say, let me just shut up and just take it and just hope to God so me get out of it. Anyways, I convinced him that I was too tired to follow him to the ATM machine. And he eventually got out of my car, and him drive off with a speed that, so I couldn't trail him. I couldn't see which direction he went. I wasn't interested, and I drove off. So I was going to drive into the police station, but right as me reach at the police station corner, him call, if you ever turn into the station, gunshot are gonna reach you. And even if the police come out, believe me, you will be dead already. So me just kindly take myself and go home. And he stayed on the phone with me the whole night. Well, not the whole night, the whole way home, the entire way home. And I know he was watching me. So I had to just go home. Girl, I had to just go home. When I got home, I was afraid to call the police. I was so terrified that I thought calling the police would be a problem because he also would track my phone. So everything I do on my phone, he would know. So if I make a call, a text, whatever, he made me know that he has access to my phone records. Everything. If I send a text to somebody, he would call me and tell me, you just text once. Why you sending me a picture? Or why you sending my picture to this person? Or why this? Everything. He was on to me 100%. Eventually, I got to talk to somebody, and the person accompanied me to the police station. It was another police officer. He accompanied me to a police station, and I made the report. And right now, he's still found him. I know where his parents are. I know the house. Police cannot find his parents responsible. So that's the story. He he has stopped. He has stopped. He did so many other things. He created a fictitious Facebook profile, and he wrote bad things about my business. He wrote bad things about me. He made up a lot of things, and he was smart about it because my IT person was able to trace it right back to him. Right? The IT person didn't know the story, but he was able to show me a profile picture of somebody and said, "This is the person that did it." And when I asked, he denied it. And when I told him that the police was looking for him because of it, the profile was automatically deleted. So clearly, he was the one that did it. But it was horrible. So when I got home, my mother was with me, was at my house. She didn't know, and nobody knows except that policeman that I told who followed me to the station. Up to this day, nobody knows that he came at me again afterwards, and he told me that he's not going to stop. He told me he's not going to stop. He's going to get me. He's going to get me. He's going to get me. So that's the story in a nutshell. I've missed out a lot of details, but it's too much to tell. It would take it would take a 2 week talk show, 2 weeks worth of talking for me to give the full story of what happened to me. Because of that, no, I haven't gotten any counseling. But there are certain things I can't do anymore. I changed. I had to change my vehicle, in fear that he knows my vehicle, so I had to change that. Um, my workplace, of course, he doesn't know. So a lot of changes I had to do. I cannot go anywhere alone. I cannot put clothes on the line because that's at the back of the house. I have to use my dryer because I think that he's going to grab me. So I can't do anything alone. I can't stay on the road until dark if I'm alone. I just cannot do anything because everywhere I go, I see him. When I close my eyes, I see him. One night I was at home and I closed my eyes and I saw him. He came into the house and he spoke to me and he said something significantly. And it has made me very fearful of just being around. Every man I see and talk to is out and that maybe shout at them. I get fearful because I want to say, listen, you need to get out of this. And my last parting words would be, if you're in a relationship and you're with a man that shouts or um, hits you or does anything, you need to get out of it immediately. Don't care. Him can't do nothing. Get out. Get out. The police is there to protect you. Get out. Go to the police if you have to. Get out. Do not allow any man to hurt you or to harm you in any way. Never, ever, ever allow it. Once you see a sign, you run. Run with all your might. I had to take up everything that I have, every degree that I have, every birth certificate, passport, everything that is of value. I took them and I had to take them and give to somebody because I thought this guy would just rip everything apart. So it was awful. And I never know that I'm a very small person. I never know I could take so much beatings and still be alive. So that's my story, and As I say, I hope it doesn't happen to anybody else. Any question?
Now, yes, there's a lot of questions, and I know even the people in the chat they have a few questions as well. And
Okay.
what I want to say, one of the first questions that I want to ask, um, from what I'm getting from the story, you fear this man. So this was not out of love. It was out of fear that you stick around for this long time with this man. But my question really is, after he has done all this nonsense to you, after he has abused you so badly, how on earth, what were you thinking about even to give this man a second chance, much more a third chance and even a fourth chance? How were you so brave to even go hang out with him, to be in the same car, in the same space? By the way, was this man Jamaican? Is this man, who was this man really? Because this man seemed to be not just a man. This man seemed to be um, something else than just a man, So why were you so afraid of him? What drove that level of fear in you, that you found the possibility to go stick around with him and to even think of taking tools to this man after what he's done to you?
I was afraid of him. I was afraid of him and he was tracking my every move and I was just in fear. Now that I'm out of the situation, I can tell you, if somebody else should come to me with the same story, I would say, how dare you go and let this man even see you again? But when you're in the situation, it is different from when you're outside of the situation. I was fearful. I was in fear of my life. And everything that this guy would say to me or do, everything he said, I would believe in terms of the whole threats. I thought he had that much power to hurt me. And what made me believe him was the fact that he could tell me everywhere I would go and he could tell me every call I make, every text I make, every detail of every text. That made me very fearful. And I thought if I didn't stop at the gas station that night, he would have come to my house and tried to murder me. And it seemed to me a safer place to stop than at my house because I don't live in an apartment. I live
Oh,
in a house. I have a yard, I have a fence, I don't have dogs. So if he's inside with me, he's inside. So it was all in
okay, so
fear.
it was more the fear of a stalker, someone who knows when you sleep, when you're awake, when you pee. No, there was another section. I was taking a little bit of notes while you were talking. So you said he raped you. So this guy actually I
Mm-hmm.
know you had a relationship going on, so you were his queen supposedly. But you said this guy
No, I was his
raped you, and a lot of
hostage.
people don't understand the possibilities of your husband or your boyfriend or your significant other raping you.
No, let me
And
correct you
this
one
guy
second though. Let
raped
me
you
let
with
me
your
correct you
son
one
in the
second
house
though.
while you were in the house. Now there's another question where I want to find out. You said you were wetting your bed, literally. And I want to think
Mm-hmm.
that this was not from you sweating in the bed. This was like you pee in the bed because of fear. And this drives me crazy because this is a lot that this man has done to you. And how do you allow this man in your body? Well, I guess again, then again, the fear of this man killing you, and the threats and the this and that was what drove you to still even consider giving this man a chance.
At no point I considered giving him a chance. At every move, I'm thinking about prolonging my life. At no point I gave him a chance. I just
Makes perfect
thought
sense.
that
Makes
if I
perfect sense. So
did
you were
not
more
give in, I
fearful of
would
your
die.
life and thinking about your son most of all. How can you stay alive for another day, another 2 days, another week?
Oh, yes.
Because you want to be there for your son. So your son became more of a concern that you want to prolong your life for as long as possible, so you can be there for your son at least.
Yes, and I would have run away, but my son did not have a US visa. I was the only one with a visa, and that's why I stayed in Jamaica because I couldn't leave him.
Okay. All right. The other question is, how long ago was this? Because it sounds like it is not a very long time. This sounds like probably 3, 4, 5 years ago at least. How long ago was this, and how long was the relationship?
You're correct. It wasn't more than about 3 years ago or 3 to 4 years ago, thereabout. There was never a relationship. I was his hostage, and I want for everybody to get that clear that I became his hostage very early in the situation.
That's the next thing I wanted to find out, because you said basically that you met this line, you were introduced to a dating site. That was the first thing. Then you met this man, and this man created a profile that he was a
Mm-hmm.
medical doctor. He was a medical employee, and he was practicing medicine. And you were glad that this was a professional meeting you as a
Yes,
professional. But then his
yes,
trickery in the first 2 days of the relationship or the meeting or the dating suggests that this man was a horrible monster. He lied, and there were like 1,000 red flags sticking up. What made you decide to still even, this thing is like, this is almost like a movie. These are the things that we see in a movie, and sometimes when we're watching these movie, we're cussing out the girls and said the girl fool man. She knows she said the man I try to kill, them kind of thing. Them, why did you stick around when you saw the red flags from the get go?
because the threat started coming in from early with this fictitious character from Bermuda. It started very early, and there was no way I could escape because I remember after about a month or two of knowing him, I told him that he needed to just leave my life. I don't want to communicate, I don't want to see him anymore, and all of that. And that was the first time I found out about this man. And also, he told me about his friends in Grand Spen, and he pretended that his friends in Granspen were calling him, and he started crying, and he was begging his friends on the phone, please don't kill her, everything good, just please, just not kill her, not kill her. And at this point I realized nobody was on the phone, but I was terrified and there's nothing I could do.
So this guy basically manipulated the situation the whole time. What was there a real attachment in Bermuda? Was he originally born in Bermuda? Did you happen to get a trace or a record of this guy? Where was he from? What was his life about? Did you get to a profile of him so you could, have a full idea of who this guy is, so you could warn somebody to say, this guy is this, his attachment is with these people. What was his attachment with Bermuda, by the way?
It was all in his mind. There was nobody in Bermuda for him because I met his mother and his father, and in talking to them, they laughed at me because they took it for a joke. And they said, there's nobody, you don't have nobody in Bermuda, man. Ha 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 ha. Like idiots. And I wanted to say to the mother, like, you know that your son is a monster. And you did not warn me or any other woman that he has spoken to. You have been protecting him. So you're just as bad. You're just as guilty. When he started acting up and I realized that nothing was normal about this guy, I decided to Google him. And when I Googled him, I was sitting beside my son, and it said that he was on charge for murder, rape, abduction, arson, what other, about 7 charges that he got off. And that made me even more scared. And I tried to, like they say, your hand in the tiger mouth, you take time and draw it out, don't make the tiger bite you. So I thought I could just take my time and just, you know, get away in a peaceful manner.
All right, all right. This is crazy because this guy is a master manipulator, and this guy has created even an imaginary. This guy is something else, because this guy even
Let me tell
created
you.
an imaginary world with imaginary people, and use his imaginary world to manipulate you to say, all right, this person is saying that. But then, because of the facts that he had, his tracking device um, and thing. So tell me something. The last question before we accept some ideas from the people in the chat. We're going to drop the link down if anybody wants to come and give advice or to say something or to ask questions. We're going to accept that in just the next 2 minutes. But if I may ask the last question, where is he now? And how who was his representative? Or let me not say, you don't have to call names of his representative, but how was he able to do all this nonsense and to even escape from the law, as soon as he got in? So as soon as he got in, he was almost out already, and be there to terrorize you again. How did he get away from the police? Is there a case where he's in a relationship and has a good friendship with the deputy of commission and commissioner or whatever, blah blah? How did he get to escape from all these after what he's done?
Well, I don't know because, to the best of my knowledge, I'm going off what the police say. They don't know where he is. Um, they are trying to find him according to them, but they cannot find him. I don't know where he is. I can't tell you if he's in a relationship now. I don't know. But I don't think it is my duty to find him. I think it is. I think I need to, as the policeman said to me, leave the police to do their job. I don't think it is my duty to find him. But I think he is in Jamaica.
Okay. Okay, my final question to you: how has that affected your social life? You probably is afraid of relationships and guys, and everything probably sticks a red flag into your eyes these days. How has that affected your now life? 3 years ago, this happened to you, and now, what is your status right now? Are you in a relationship? How is your social life? What is your life like now? Are you still living in fear that maybe this could reoccur or whatever? What is your situation now?
All right, currently I still live in fear, even though I am protected. I am in a relationship now and I'm very comfortable. I never thought it was possible. I They say out of evil comes good. And during the ordeal, I met and fell in love with my current spouse. And I never thought it was possible. I never thought it would have been possible. I thought that was it for me. Um, but that is what has happened. So out of evil came good. And I am still fearful, but I'm not afraid of my spouse, but I am very much afraid of when my spouse is not around. I worry about when I have to be alone.
Okay, all right. So, thank you for sharing your story. For those that are coming in, I want to thank you. This is the TR Show, and this is another episode of the first series of telling my story of how I got over. Now, I want to give someone the chance, if you want to jump on up here and ask a question or two, or if you want to give an advice. The link has been placed in the chat if you want to jump on up here quickly and ask her one or two questions, or say, if you want to make a suggestion, or you want to say whatever, or if you want to encourage someone about how to get over this type of situation, the chance is yours. I'm going to keep you here for another 5 minutes, survivor. And then, you can always drop down in the chat, and you can, if you want, you can drop down in the chat and respond to whomever is trying to talk to you in the chat. And then we're going to take, so let me just check if anybody is on here. If nobody, oh, we have the first person. Derek C. Williams is coming on to give his little bit of how you should deal with the situation, or how you can go forward, or just his little bit of advice. Let us hear what Derek C. Williams has to say. Welcome to the show, Derek C. Williams.
Yes, sir. First off, shout out and respect due to the soldier for John TR9 Area X. Shout out to all y'all in the chat room. SF Rose was good with you. I grew up in 1970s Mississippi, and I saw domestic abuse up close. I won't get too deep into it, but I saw it very, very close. But I'll just move on up to when I was a young person. Every place I went, coming up in my hometown, you would always see usually on the weekend, the men would get intoxicated, jump on their women, or the woman would want to have a girls' night out. They didn't call it girls' night out when we was coming up. Women just went out, and it was nothing for a man to go to the club and knock on the door and had a DJ page whatever female he was talking to. She ain't come outside. She have a black eye by that Sunday. I saw this all coming up throughout the late 70s, early 80s in Mississippi. I just always had an aversion to that. In fact, my dad always told us, say, Derek and Brian, we ever hear telling you hitting on a female, something bad gonna happen to you. And so I'm carrying that to this day. I think you should respect women. But the fact of the matter is you have so many broken men, be it from the racism that they experience at the hands of the white man in this country, or just outright hatred of themselves being black people. That filters on down to the people in your house. The first person you gonna touch is the person that you laying with. That's how we was taught. And my grandmama was also tell us, like, boy, they be knocking something loose. That's just another way of saying that when the female stays after the man hits them the first time, it's lights out. It's lights out. And it take a long time for a woman to come around to saying, look, I'm gonna find the strength, the will to get out of that, because they ain't gonna do nothing but be some death. And I saw some of that too. I'm gonna go on and say this, and then I'm gonna go and step off real quick. The first person that I ever had a sexual relationship with, she died in 2009. As it turns out, she was having an abusive relationship for the better part of the first half of the 2000s. And so she found somebody else. And from what I heard, the guy was treating her better than she had been treated in over 15 years. I'm in my early 40s at this time, right? And the boy got wind of it and started chasing them high-speed chase through our hometown. Greenville ain't but like 50, 60,000 people, small town. So you can imagine, wasn't no highways and all that. Well, he ran her and the gentleman off the road. They hit a telegram pole and they were both killed. That was one day before I was getting ready to come back to Philadelphia. And I'm saying all that to say this: women ain't finna leave. I don't know what it is when they get struck the first time. But that woman just said a second ago, he used technology to keep her in line because she couldn't go nowhere without him knowing about it. We didn't have none of that coming up in Mississippi. They went to go find you. And the longer a man went out to go and find you, the angrier he got. He better find you within 5 minutes, because if he out driving the car and burning his gas for an hour, it's hell to pay. And this is all I saw coming up. And this is something that ain't gonna never stop. I don't know if it's ever gonna stop. I just know that it's a topic that's it's unfortunate. And I'm just glad the survivor was able to have the strength of character to get on out of there, because he was gonna end up gonna take your life, in my opinion. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And I want to thank TR for taking my video right here. I'm gonna go and step aside and thank you, Survivor, for surviving. And again, shout out to you, TR. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, you take care, TR. I'm gonna holler at you. All right.
Peace, brother. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks.
and sharing your story. Okay, no problem. All right, we're going to take two other person. If you have questions, or if you want to come up to say hi to Survivor, and if you want to say whatever you want to say, any encouraging words, we're going to drop the link one more time down. And if you want to jump on up here to say hello to Survivor, and if you want to ask her any questions that you were curious about, or if you want to say something to strengthen and encourage her, the link is there. You can jump on up and say hi. In the meantime, I want to say thanks again to Survivor for coming to share her story with us. And I want to say, let me just go ahead until the next person jump on up here. Let me just quickly say a quick shout out to some of the people in the chat. We have the main girls of the kingdom in the queendom in the building. We have Carter Club, we have Sandy K, Amy Carnival, SF Rose. I see Scott Kovac in the building. We also see Derek C. Williams, the gaming prince. We have XX Love Muffin Angel X. We have Jen the Goat in the building. In the bushes she was. We have Zico in the building. We have Aries Girl Unstoppable in the building. Your first time on here, we want to say welcome to you. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your presence on here. Thank you for coming on the first time. We have carts and cameras in the building. Thank you for coming. We want to just state that we have Jaguar in the building. Jaguar, Jag, Angela, M is here as well. Thank you for coming. I want to say quickly a big shout out to everybody who came tonight. We thank you for coming. If you had not given the stream a like, we appreciate a like as well. So if you could just smack that like button, and if you did not share the stream and you have an option to share the stream, we would appreciate a share as well. All right, so we have the next person on that will want to say hello to our caller. We have Claudine Deer. Thank you so much for coming, Claudine Deer. We appreciate your presence in the TR show. Welcome. And we're going to take the next person on to say whatever you have to say. Welcome to the show, Kyle Rin. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello there. I'm glad to come here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes, I can hear you. What do you have to say?
When I heard your story, I felt kind of awful that happened to you. I just
yes.
I just felt I want to get after that guy that harmed you.
Yeah, me too.
But if I did that, I would have become like him. But I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
My question is, how did you escape from him?
The police.
The police?
Yeah, I got a chance to make a report and they were able to pick him up. I escaped in more than one ways. I had to eventually rent a car for him because he loves to drive. So I rented him a car, allowed him to go home, and that was my way of getting him out of my space. Never allowed him back, and the police picked him up shortly thereafter. That's what I had to do. So it cost me to let go of him or to get rid of him, but the money I spent to rent that car, it was one of the best monies I ever spent because it saved my life.
Yeah. I'm sorry you've been through everything.
Yes, thank you.
I hope you're
Yes, Kyle, we thank you for your question. Go ahead.
Anyways, I hope that your life is better.
100% better now.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anyways, I have to go. I'm playing with my Xbox One. Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much, Kyle, for coming, and thank you for sharing and telling your little bit and asking your question. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for coming to the TR show. And we will talk to you sometime again soon. All right, there's a question in the chat. How is your son doing at this time? So, if I may ask, the question is there for you, Survivor. How is your son doing at this time?
Oh, he's wonderful. If I followed him, we would have both been in jail because he wanted me to kill him in his sleep. He was so angry. He wanted me to poison him. He wanted me to do so many things. He wanted me to run him over with the car and leave the car on top of him. My son was so angry. My son took out a knife one night to stab him. and I had to, you know, even though I'm smaller than my son now, I had to restrain him. I don't know how, but my son would have been in prison now. So I told him, it wasn't worth it. But he's doing very, very well, and I don't think it has affected him too badly.
Okay. Well, I tell you this. Not only your son wanted that for the abuser or the stalker, but there were quite a few
Yes.
people in the chat that was asking if your stove wasn't working, or if your hot water wasn't working, or if your pot wasn't working, if the oil, if you didn't have any oil, anything, because everybody was saying that if it was a case that they were in the same situation, they would have poured hot oil, hot water in his ears, blah blah blah, and so forth and so on. So, a lot of people was basically mad with the fact that you tolerated this thing for so long. But then probably it works out good for you, because as much as this guy was wrong, and as much as he was the predator, there's a strong chance that you could have gotten yourself into trouble. And so I guess eventually, I'm not sure if I want to say you did the right thing, but at least the end result turned out to be that you've done maybe the right thing. Because if it was for I or many of the people in the chat, the guy probably would have been dead. You probably would have been in prison, or they would have been in prison, but you found a way to get out of the situation. What son wouldn't want to kill him? That's right. A son is normally very protective of their mother, so I can definitely understand the question. All right, we're going to take the final person up on here. If you want to jump on up and ask your question, and then we are going to end the show. But before we go any further, if you're here in the show and you have not yet subscribed to the TR show, we would suggest highly that you subscribe, and that you might not miss the next event, because the next shows that are coming up, we have some very serious stories coming on that you don't want to miss. So if you have not yet subscribed to the TR show, please go ahead and subscribe now. If you have not yet become a member of the TR show, that option is actually very active right now, and there's a lot of benefits from becoming a member of the TR show, even if you don't see the exact benefit immediately, instantly, which some of them is actually present. Like for instance, your name will change to green if you turn if you join the membership. You will also get a badge right beside your name. In the building, Trey and Game TV, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming. All right, so joining the membership helps, and we want to say a shout out to all our members, all the people here in green. We have also Scott Kovac, most things, lol, Althea Hewitt. All right, what did I miss? Let me see what Althea Hewitt had to say about this situation. Hi, Scott. Okay, you were talking to somebody. All right, cool. All right, is there anything you want to say in closing, Survivor? If there's anything that you want to tell the guest or the viewers? Oh, we have somebody. We have Jen the Goat to share her part. So let me just hear what she has to say before we move.
Hello, good evening to everyone in the chat and the royal
Jen the Goat,
family.
welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
First, I would like to send my blessings off to the survivor. I'm sorry that you had to go through this. This is terrible. I'm glad you made it out. But
Thank you.
rare is real. So you know, when the relationship is over, your life still has to go on, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You can you cannot continue to live in fear because you have a new man in your life, and you
Hmm.
should look at him as your protector. The other man,
Hmm.
don't worry about him. He's gone. Try to put that
Yeah.
behind you, because if not, it's going to put a damper onto your life every day that you wake up. And surely enough, if he's done it to you now, he's probably doing it to the next woman, and the next one after you. So you
Yes.
don't let this put a damper on what your life is going to go for the future. Don't work. Your past is gone. I know it hurts,
Yes.
and you're still going to have that memory. And whoo, just listen to your story gave me the chills. I was in the bushes for a long minute, and I was like,
Mhm.
wow, you know. But I'm not sure if you saw it on the news just the other day. The Happy Family on YouTube, the Myers effect. There were their husband and wife, actually. They were in an on and off again marriage. They have two children together, a 13-year-old that she had before they got married. He actually met up with her mother, and another guy friend at the gas station. He shot and killed her. He killed her mother, and he shot the guy, and then he killed himself. This just happened recently. Their
Yeah.
Facebook page, I mean, their Instagram page still sits up. So it's like, um, I think the man wanted to be with her, but on her social media, on YouTube, they had a wonderful family. But on her Facebook, she made it though she could show her pain through her words. You could read it, you could see it through her words, but she wanted to get away from him. And it's like, you just don't go backwards. I read all, I was, when I saw it on the news, I went right to the name on YouTube and I saw it. I was like, wow, they look so happy. They have their children and everybody's in their stuff, and he killed her mother and the guy that was with them, and then he blew the gun and shot himself, killed himself. The other dude that was with them, he actually survived. But her Facebook page showed a different story of how her life really was. But um, just for me to say to you, you you I know it's bad. Oof, you just gave me the chills, but you cannot let that damper what's going to happen to you in the future. You have a good man
Thank you very
now.
much.
Yeah, you have a
Hmm.
good man now,
Yes.
and just be happy with him. Try not to think about the
Yes.
things that has happened to you in the past. Things happen to you. We've all been through something in the past that we tried to block out. Do something
Yes.
positive or start doing some kind of art, creative art, or anything just to keep your mind off of that, because you're not in that space
Hmm.
anymore. And wherever he is,
Yes.
let him be there. And whoever he's with, let him do it with whoever. It's just not you anymore. It's
Thank you
not
very
you.
much.
So, you survived it. Thank God, because this lady here, you look at her YouTube page, she has their family on there and they look so happy. Um, it's the Myers effect. And it's like, who's going to take care of the children now? The 13-year-old and the two younger children, who's going to take care of them? Because mom and dad is gone, and so is grandma. Um, so you have you're a strong woman. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because I've never been to like the relationships where someone would actually put their hands on me or do something, because I have brothers and I have a lot of men in my family, and it just wouldn't happen. I've never had it like that. So it actually does come about, like, if you have your family around, or if you have older brothers, or if you have your fathers, or men in your life, that man actually doesn't think, oh, I have her, she's going to only be with me. So, and I'm gonna make sure of that, because oof, your story just shook me. I just know that. But this other story here that I just saw yesterday is really, really, it really is heartbreaking. It's almost like, these people, they have a lot of subscribers, hundreds on YouTube, and there is a big YouTube family, and they're so happy. But then what happened yesterday? I don't know. Nobody, nobody knows. But when they look at her Facebook page, she was saying, how she was really feeling, but nobody never paid attention to it. But once you're gone from that relationship and you have a new something, just focus on that. Don't try not to think about what he's done. I know it's rough and I know it's hard. Um, but you don't have to go through those things anymore. You have someone that's gonna hold you at night, who's gonna love you for real and give you real love and be loyal to you. Take that. Take that and run with it, girlfriend. Um,
Thank you very much.
yeah, be blessed with be blessed with that. Don't ooh, I don't know. Just I'm gonna send you my blessings because you shook me up. You shook me up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that all this happened to you. Um, but try not to think of the past so much. You have a beautiful life ahead of you, and with all of this stuff that's happening, we really don't know what's gonna come for tomorrow. So just live your life and enjoy what you have right now. Whether he's someplace else, you don't want to place charges on him and do something because then something else is going to happen. He's going to be looking for you again, and then he might do something to your new man. You don't want that. Just let him be.
No, he can't do anything to my new man.
Right. So, okay, he can't do nothing to your new man. Exactly.
No.
So let him be. Let him be. Don't worry about where he is or what he's doing or who he's doing it with, as long as it's not you. It's not you.
Yeah.
It's not you now. Um, I'm just glad that you made it out of that situation, but it, the story from what you've said and the story that I just heard on the news about the big YouTube family, the Myers effect, their channel is still up and they got so many subscribers and they just look so happy, but in real life they really weren't. So I mean,
Okay.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna send you a big hug and from the whole heart of my body because you really did shake me up. I don't know how you went through all of that, but it's also a thing called post traumatic stress disorder. So that could be something that you might have to um, just sit down and talk to somebody about it, so that way you can get over it and get it away from you. Like, oh, that did happen. Oh, I forgot about it. Because you sound like you're a very
Mm-hmm.
good woman and your heart is gold. So just I'm just glad that it's over for you. Okay.
Thank you
I
very
s-
much. I'm happy too. Thanks.
yeah, I send you my love and blessings. And
Thank you.
good night to the royal family. Thank you for having me, TR and SF Rose and the Three Musketeers. Love you guys.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right, sure. Thank you so much for coming and blessing on your way. All right, so that was it for tonight's show. I want to say thank you again, Survivor, for coming, and you can
Thank you.
always share this to whomever you want to watch this to Survivor after this, and you can always go back and watch it. If you don't like it, we can put it on private or whatever. But thank you so much for
Okay.
coming and telling your story. Any final thing that you want to say? Here is your chance.
Yes, I just want to add a few things. Sometimes you're in a relationship or you're in a situation and people say, why did you go back or why did you stay so long? You have to think about the after effects. You do this and then what is next? So we have to let good sense prevail in every situation. So even though I was angry with this person, I could never show my anger because I probably more than likely would have ended up dead. I would never see my way out of this situation. So I've tried many times to get out. It would have always ended badly. So always let good sense prevail and just always look out for the signs and run as fast as you can when you see them.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is sound word of advice, and I want to say thank you for sharing your story, and then even to have the strength to have an advice at the end of the show makes it even more beautiful. So, thank you again for coming, Survivor, and I will be talking to you soon. God bless you and have a great night. Sleep well, and enjoy your family life, your new life, and peace be with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Bye.
All right, so guys, that was the next episode, of course, of the TR show, and I want to say it was a blast to be here. We are happy that everything worked out, and we could present to you this show tonight. Um, so I want to say a blessings to you all. If you have not yet subscribed, I want to say quickly, just do subscribe, and let me just call the names of all the people that is present right here, right now, and give you the final shout out, and then we will just close the show. All right, so we want to say we're gonna start from over here. We're gonna start from over here. So we are here. I want to say a big shout out to Amy. I want to say a big shout out to Amy Carnival. I want to say Angela M. Shout out to you. I want to say Aries Girl, Unstoppable. Thank you for coming. Carter Club, Derek C. Williams, Joy. We have Quiz Jobs Vlogs. We have Joy. We have Margaret Smith. We have Nana Crafty Corner. We have Prinky. No, Pinky. We have Pinky Tyson. Thank you for coming, Pinky Tyson. We have Margaret Smith. We have Sandy K. We have Scott Kovac. Sorry. Yes. Scott Kovac, SF Rose. Thank you all for coming. Blessings. And these are the names that we have over here. So let me just jump back over here so we can get a full thing. We have Angela M. All right. Thank you so much for coming, Angela M. We have Sandy K. Thank you for coming, Sandy K. We have Joy here. Thank you for coming, Joy. Who else do we have? We have, yes, Amy Carnival and the rest of you. Anyway, guys, that was the TR show. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night, and I will see you again on the next episode of Tell Your Story on the TR show. Thank you so much for coming. Blessings until we meet again.
I know you think that I shouldn't still love you or tell you that. But if I did say it, well, I still have felt it. Where's the sense in that? I promise I'm not trying to make your life harder or return to where we were. I will go down with this shit, and I will put my hands up and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door. I'm in love and always will be. I know I left too much mess and distraction to come back again.